She kept asterisk what asterisk. I introduced him to all of them. Petty revenge. It was a ridiculously extravagant bracelet, I knew that. A David Heumann cable bracelet with black diamonds clustered at the clasp. But it was Mark's 30th, and he'd been hinting about wanting one for months. He worked in finance, the pressure to project success was palpable. So I bit the bullet. The surprise party at the Blue Room went off perfectly. Chloe and Sarah had coordinated everything. Mark was genuinely surprised, which was a feat in itself. He made a big show of loving the bracelet, thanking me profusely, even shedding a possibly fake tear. "I'm never taking this off," he declared, holding my hand tight, the bracelet glinting under the dim lights. He spent the rest of the night showing it off to everyone. That's when I introduced him to everyone. Chloe and Liam, Sarah and David, plus a bunch of my work friends. Mark charmed them all. That was Mark's gift, making people feel like they were the only person in the room. 2 years. 2 years we'd been together. Vacations, family holidays, meeting each other's parents. It fast-forward 6 months. I was hunting for a screwdriver in Mark's closet, trying to fix a wobbly shelf in the living room. I knelt down, rummaging behind his neatly arranged shoes, and my fingers brushed against something hard and rectangular. A David Heumann box. My heart stuttered. Maybe he'd bought another one, for his mom's birthday or something. But it was the exact same box, the same shade of dark blue. I opened it. The bracelet was nestled inside, pristine, untouched. The little tag was still attached. My breath hitched. It was like a punch to the gut. Why? He wore it. He wore it all the time, or so I thought. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and paranoia. I replayed every moment, every conversation, searching for clues I'd missed. Was he cheating? Was the bracelet a lie? Chloe and Sarah were my rocks. I told them everything, and their reactions mirrored my own disbelief and hurt. "He said he loved it," Chloe exclaimed, her voice tight with anger. "I saw him wearing it, remember, when we went to that gallery opening. He was flashing it around like crazy." "Okay," Sarah said, ever the pragmatist. "Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe there's a perfectly reasonable explanation." But deep down, we all knew there probably wasn't. I started paying closer attention to Mark. He was definitely spending more time on his phone, turning away when I entered the room. He had a late work dinner 2 nights that week, and he started showering at the gym in the mornings, which was weird because he usually hated going to the gym. I started small, testing the waters. "You haven't worn your bracelet lately," I said casually one evening, as he was getting ready for one of those work dinners. He glanced down at his wrist, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. "Oh yeah, I didn't want to scratch it. Important meeting tonight." The lie was so blatant, so clumsy, it was insulting. That weekend, while Mark was supposedly at a golf tournament with his colleagues, I did some digging, social media stalking. I hated myself for it, but I needed to know. And then I found her. Tiffany. Her Instagram was public. Recent pictures of her wearing my bracelet. Pictures of her and Mark at a fancy restaurant holding hands. Pictures of them laughing together at a rooftop bar. The rage that coursed through me was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. I felt physically ill, betrayed, humiliated. He hadn't just cheated. He'd lied to my face. He'd worn the damn bracelet in front of me knowing the truth. And he'd met all my friends because of me. They knew him. They liked him. They felt just as betrayed as I did. That's when the anger solidified into a cold, burning need for revenge. It had to be perfect. It had to hurt. I started planning. Chloe and Sarah were fully on board. They were even more incensed than I was. "Okay, Operation Bracelet Bust is a go," Chloe declared, pulling up a whiteboard. "We need a strategy." Sarah, naturally, took the lead on logistics. She helped me draft a guest list, ensuring all the key players would be present. Mark. Tiffany invited under a fake name. Tina, Chloe and Liam, Sarah and David, and a few of Mark's colleagues from work. Important colleagues. The ones who respected him. The ones he needed to impress to get that promotion he'd been gunning for. I even managed to snag Brian and Emily, 2 of my co-workers, to even out the numbers. The theme, couples game night. Innocuous. Harmless. I spent the next week preparing. I baked cookies, arranged flowers, and most importantly, created a PowerPoint presentation. It looked innocent enough. Just some fun facts about relationships, funny quotes, and a few simple games. But hidden within the presentation were the receipts. The pictures of Mark and Tiffany. Screenshots of their text messages, audio recordings of his phone calls. Each slide was a carefully crafted piece of evidence, designed to unravel his lies thread by thread. Game night arrived. I plastered on a fake smile, welcoming everyone into my apartment. Mark arrived with Tiffany, introducing her as Tina, a friend from work. He looked nervous, but he played it cool. As everyone settled in, I started the presentation. The first few slides were genuinely innocuous. Relationship advice, humorous anecdotes, everyone laughed. Mark seemed to relax. Then came slide 5, a picture of Mark and Tiffany at the restaurant holding hands. The caption, "Who knows your partner best?" A collective gasp filled the room. Tiffany's face paled. Mark's jaw dropped. What is this?" Tiffany stammered, looking at Mark. "It's just a joke," I said, my voice deceptively sweet. "Keep watching." Slide 6, a screenshot of a text message exchange between Mark and Tiffany discussing their upcoming weekend getaway. The caption, "Where do you see your relationship in 5 years?" The color drained from Tiffany's face completely. She turned to Mark, her eyes blazing with fury. "Mark, what the hell is going on?" He stammered, trying to explain, but the words caught in his throat. I clicked to slide 7, a picture of Tiffany wearing the bracelet. The caption, "What was the best gift you've ever received from your partner?" The room was silent. You could hear a pin drop. Tiffany ripped the bracelet off her wrist and threw it at Mark. "You gave me her bracelet?" she screamed. The PowerPoint continued. Each slide delivered another blow, another piece of damning evidence. Audio recordings of Mark telling Tiffany how unappreciated he felt, how understanding she was. Pictures of them kissing. Text messages planning secret rendezvous. His colleagues watched in stunned silence. Brian and Emily exchanged horrified glances. This wasn't the Mark they knew. Finally, the presentation ended. The last slide simply read, "Game over." The silence stretched, thick and heavy. Then Tiffany exploded. She unleashed a torrent of insults and accusations at Mark. She called him a liar, a cheat, a manipulative bastard. Mark, cornered and exposed, tried to defend himself. He claimed it was all a misunderstanding, that I was crazy, that Tiffany was just a friend. But no one was buying it. The evidence was irrefutable. His colleagues looked at him with disgust. They saw him for what he was, a fraud. Chloe and Sarah stood beside me, their faces grim. They were ready to pounce if Mark tried anything. Tiffany stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Mark's colleagues awkwardly mumbled their excuses and left, avoiding eye contact. Finally, it was just me, Chloe, Sarah, and Mark. You planned this," Mark stammered, his face pale and sweaty. "You think," I said, my voice cold and hard. "You lied to me, Mark. You cheated on me, you humiliated me. And you did it all while wearing a gift I gave you. Consider this your karma." He tried to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but I was done. I'd said my piece. "Get out, Mark," I said, pointing to the door, "and don't ever contact me again." He left, defeated and humiliated. Chloe and Sarah wrapped me in a hug. The tears finally came, a mixture of relief and sadness. Next few days were a whirlwind. Mrs. Henderson, the office administrator, was a walking, talking gossip machine. Within hours, everyone at work knew what had happened. Mark's reputation was ruined. His chances of getting that promotion were gone. He tried to contact me to explain, to apologize, but I blocked his number. I didn't want to hear it. Then something unexpected happened. Daniel, the awkward, quiet guy from accounting, stopped by my desk. "Evelyn," he said, his voice hesitant. I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry about what happened. You deserve better." I'd never really paid much attention to Daniel before. He was always kind, always helpful, but he was also incredibly shy. "Thanks, Daniel," I said, forcing a smile. And he continued, his cheeks flushing red. I've always admired you. You're smart and funny, and you have great taste in bracelets." He gestured awkwardly to my wrist, where I was conspicuously not wearing the human cable. I laughed, genuinely laughed. It was the first time I'd laughed in days. "Thanks, Daniel," I said again, feeling a warmth spread through me. That means a lot. A week later, I was at a bar with Chloe and Sarah, celebrating my newfound freedom. We were laughing and joking, feeling lighter than we had in months. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "Hey, would you want to grab coffee sometime? Maybe talk about bracelets?" I smiled. "Maybe I would," I texted back. I raised my glass to Chloe and Sarah. "To new beginnings," I said. The bracelet box, a symbol of lies and betrayal, sat in the bottom of my trash can. I was finally letting go of the past, ready to embrace the future. And maybe, just maybe, Daniel was a part of that future. It certainly was worth a cup of coffee to find out.